Yeah. Okay. We're going to kick it off. Um, so hi everyone. Welcome to How to Become a Go-To Person. I'm Hila Fox. I'm a Staff Plus engineer. First of all, I want to sort of like scan out the room. Who here is a manager? Like raise your hand. Just trying to understand. Let's say like leaders without authority, tech lead, stuff like that. Okay, and I'm assuming the rest are developers. Yes? Okay, great. So I'll know who's in the room. So before we get into anything, let's talk about like being a go-to person. What does it mean? And I'll start with like a proper definition. It says someone or something that is relied on and regularly turned to for expert knowledge, skill, and performance. Regularly or repeatedly chosen or employed for reliable good results. And you can see the words I'm highlighting here, right? It's about showing good results and skills, but in a repeatable manner that it is trusted, right? So this is sort of what it means. So this is I'm excited. So this is what being a go-to person is. A little bit about me. My name is Hila Fox. I'm a principal engineer at a company called Kodo. I actually started there only a month ago, so I have to read the one-liner. We are a code generation platform that is focused on quality, helping devs to test, review, and code. So I won't blabber the intentions of the company. I'm an experienced technical leader with over 10 years of experience. I've been in leadership positions for the past 4 years. I do public speaking, hence I'm here. I generate blog posts, I write a lot, and I'm a DDD enthusiast. And also, actually, it's my birthday today, right now. Yay! So yeah, a lot of things happening today. And this is my QR code. My main platform is LinkedIn. If you wanna catch up or talk afterwards or anything, feel free. It will show up again in the end as well. So the talk today is going to be separated into 3 main questions. The first one is why become a go-to person? Why be this reliable person people want to come to, right? How does it benefit me, like every person for themselves, and also how does it benefit others around us, right? Like the company, our peers, stuff like that. Afterwards, the main part of the talk is going to be about how to do it, right? And it's going to be very, very practical around skills and behaviors we can do in every day, right? So expect that. And lastly, whether you're managers or whether you're leaders, or maybe you just know other people that can benefit from it, how can you take this and help them grow using this concept? Okay, so let's kick it off. So the talk is called How to Become a Go-To Person, and I want to talk about how it relates to leadership, okay? And I want to talk about what is leadership for me, right? And I want to do it by talking about, by sharing 4 quotes that embody this very well for me. So the quotes are like from very smart, famous people that do like consulting and, I don't know, things around management and leadership and methodologies and shaped the world that, like the way we work with it today. So our first quote is the only definition of a leader is someone who has followers, right? And that one is from Peter Drucker. He's a consultant. The second one is leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. Bill Gates, no introduction needed, I guess. As we look ahead into the century, leaders will be those who empower others. And lastly, leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality. Now, you can see the highlighted words. For me, this is what is important. To be a leader, to be a go-to person, to be a person that people want to come to, you need to have, first of all, followers. It means people that want to come to you. You need to be able to influence others, and you need to be able to empower them, right? And lastly, because the first 3 is around the people themselves, we need to be able to generate a vision. something better for the future. So this is leadership. And it all connects to being a go-to person. And now I want to share it from my own personal story, right? Because the reason I'm talking about this is because if I'll go a little bit backwards, about 4 years ago, I started working at a company called Augury, and I came to the company as a mid-level backend developer, right? But it didn't take too much time until I got promoted to being a senior. And afterwards, I got promoted to being a squad leader, which in the company was not a management position. It was like sort of, it was a leadership position. But still, and after the company started really growing, they opened up like specific IC position, like leadership roles, and I transitioned into becoming an architect. And all of this happened in 2 years. And that's fast. Like the company grew like crazy as well, and a lot of opportunities came up, and I worked really hard, and it is fast. And I sort of struggled a lot with, like why am I getting this, right? Sort of like an imposter syndrome. And I think that at some point in time, it clicked for me when I had a conversation with my manager, and he said that like one of the things he saw me doing repeatedly is working with different groups of people, but always being able to position myself as a go-to person. And this defined me no matter what, whether I was a developer or a squad lead or an architect, I was able to do that. The backend engineers working with my team, different types of people. So it hit me. I must be doing things proactively, right? And if I'm doing them proactively, I can probably, like spill them out and share them to the world and see what people are saying. But also, like I've been saying, I don't see this as something that is required or should be, or that only like leadership people should have, right? Every person, every developer can be a go-to person. Like this, I call this like impact circles. And what you can see that developers potentially will maybe have an impact on their team. And as long as your seniority is higher and your role is more broad, then you'll have more impact, more across, more people. But in the end, it's doing the same practices to impact the people around you. Within your team, you can be responsible for a specific subdomain, right? Or a specific system. And then you'll become a go-to person there, right? So I say this is, and what I'm going to talk about is relevant for either leaders or for developers, right? And obviously we would prefer to have our leaders be able to be these people, right? The people we want to go to, the people we trust. Okay, so I'm gonna stop, take some water. Okay, so this is why I care about this topic. This is why I talk about it. This is my personal journey, and actually now that I'm starting a new job, as I said, or maybe I haven't, I can't remember, I started at Kodo 1 month ago. Today is also my 1 month mark to add up to this day. And like going through this presentation sort of reminded me so much things that I've like saw myself doing through my onboarding, but also that I wanted to remember to really like implement in my day-to-day. Okay, so it's a nice inspirational story, right? Yay, Hila, good for you. How? Let's start talking more practically, right? So to be able to go to person, we need people to believe we have the skills that we have to be this go-to person, right? But it's not that we have to believe. Like, for example, I'm Hila. I know that I have good programming skills, right? But it's not enough. The people that I want them to see me as a go-to person, they need to believe. They need to trust me that I have these programming skills, right? So me knowing my skills is not enough, and me having the skills is not enough. They have to know I have these skills, right? So we have to remember we need to be able to show this. So I have skills, but to be able to actually demonstrate skills, we need to do specific behaviors, right? So if skills are abilities or expertise required to perform tasks and solve problems, and they sort of like, go into these two pillars, soft skills and technical skills. So to show those skills, we have behaviors, actions and conducts displayed by an individual in various situations. So this sort of loops it all together, right? Because if I understand that what I need to do is to demonstrate skills, right? And if I understand that I need to like behave in a specific way, okay, so let's just start doing these behaviors. But we need to know what they are and how to do them in a smart way, right? So as I was trying to think of behaviors that I see brings a lot of value, I sort of categorized them into three main groups. One is around knowledge, the second one is about caring, and the last one is a lot about letting go. Okay, now this is the point in time in which I recommend to sort of like, if something comes to your mind and you're saying, this is something I should do, this is something that guy or this woman needs to do from my team, either write it down, take a picture, whatever you want. It will be written up here. So let's start with knowledge. It's the first one of three skills we're going to talk about. Curiosity is the first skill out of three we're going to talk about in regards to knowledge, right? So personally, I really love curiosity. A lot of the times we also see like in job descriptions, people are looking for curious people to work in our company as a skill, as something that like, it's very abstract. Like, what does it mean, right? So we can show in a very practical way that we are curious, right? That we are inquisitive people that like to learn new things. And the first thing that we can do is follow internal communication within the company. For example, if you're on Slack and there's channels, so go in specific channels and be informed, right? Or maybe you have a channel that all of engineering are sending technical designs, right? So you can go there and read them. Or specs from product people. And like staying on top of things and knowing them will actually demonstrate your curiosity. Secondly, you need to stay updated on tech and methodologies outside of your workplace, right? A lot of innovation and a lot of new ideas comes from people that are already working somewhere but have heard of something new from the outside. Okay, blog posts, videos, whatever you need, find the time to schedule them in your week. It can also bring a lot of value. Meetings. So personally, I really love the concept of having like an open calendar concept at work. Not everyone has it. But anyway, I tend to spy on people's calendars, also because all the shades hide in there, but also because I can see like maybe this team is talking about authentication. This is super interesting and I want to hear about it, right? So I ask to join. Or like not every meeting is appropriate to join. You can ask them to record. So you'll be able to watch the brainstorm and like feed up from everyone's opinions. And lastly, for demonstrating curiosity is asking others for information. Like the first three things that I've said could be potentially very time-consuming. So sometimes having like contact points in the company, maybe even like a water cooler talk, sort of like with people, hey, let me know like how is it going with this project, super interesting, what's going on, give me like the inside information, can also really also shave up time, but also can give us a lot of information. So these are practical things we can do that will demonstrate our curiosity. After curiosity, we need to talk about visibility, right? Because we said it's not enough to have knowledge. People need to know that I exist and I possess this knowledge, right? So what can we do? First of all, I wrote here like be curious, but if you'll take everything that was in the previous slide and sort of start using this as a platform for generating visibility for yourself, it can be very helpful. What does it mean? For example, you're in a channel that everyone are talking maybe about a competitor or a new feature, ask questions. You're reading a design, ask questions. You're in a meeting, show your face, open the camera. Use these things as a platform for you to be more visible in your company. If you won't be visible, it will be very hard for people to remember you and approach you. Remember, being a go-to is they remember me, they come to me, right? So it's very important to remember that. And the second part is take actual interest in others. Do small talk, okay? It's sometimes, we get a lot, we get into this and we're going in a very, a lot of technical conversations and we're really in the content, right? But stopping for a second and asking people how was your weekend? Not being intrusive, but take enough interest so they'll maybe remember you even on a personal level, which is also fine, right? Because you need them to remember you. Okay, first two skills down, third skill up, opinionated. So curiosity is about retaining knowledge, visibility is about them, seeing that I hold knowledge, and opinionated is about, sharing my specific ideas, right? And being opinionated is more complicated because we need to do it in a very smart way, right? We all know this. Sometimes people have egos. Sometimes we need to understand who we're talking to. So let's see how this goes with us. So first of all, if you want to be opinionated, I found that a very practical concept could be just come prepared for meetings. If you, let's say, someone scheduled a meeting, brainstorming authentication. Okay. If you're not prepared with the meeting, to the meeting, with ideas, concepts, problems in your domain, stuff like that, you won't be able to bring new value, right? And how will you share your opinions if they're not really set in stone? So prepare for meetings. And if people schedule meetings with no agenda or you don't know what they want, ask for it, because you need it. Secondly, and this one depends whether you're a leader or a developer and what your seniority is, but share your thoughts as questions. I tend to be a very dominant person in a conversation. And for that, I found that it's a lot easier if I phrase my opinions as questions, right? So it's not the right tool for everyone, but if you are a dominant person, and it doesn't mean you're necessarily a leader, every developer, sometimes it's easier to lead the conversations with questions instead of saying, no, this is what I think, done. Okay, this is not the best idea. Make sure you're in the right forum. Sometimes a 12 people meeting is not the right place to say to others they're wrong. Write it on the side, write to them in private, right? I'll be talking about it more and more, but a lot around being a go-to person is people actually wanting to talk to you and work with you, right? So you want people to have a positive experience with you. And lastly, and I wrote introverts, but not really. I don't think I am an introvert, but this is something I really do, and I'll try to share this also from a personal story. So when I was transitioning from being a squad lead to an architect, sorry, inaugurally. So each architect in the company, we were 3 people. The R&D was about the size of 140 people. And each one was assigned a big pillar, something that is cross R&D for them to own and lead. And I got something called production excellence. Everything related to product monitoring and seeing we're having quality code outside and to see how it all connects together. So I was leading this and I was struggling a lot with the imposter syndrome, right? And I sort of knew that if I'll come and try to lead this big thing with these awesome people in front of me and I'll come very insecure, they'll have a harder time following me. So my mantra was fake it till you make it, right? And it's not faking knowledge that I don't have or lying to anyone, faking a little bit of this, of this confidence so they'll be able to follow me and things will, they'll work out as I go. So this was my mantra, and for me it worked. Fake it till you make it. So I would say find your own, right? We all struggle with these feelings when we're starting to like push ourselves out of our boundaries, right? Okay. This is a comic relief. You can laugh. So when I built these slides originally, I was looking for GIFs in Giphy.com, and I got this, but I couldn't find any way to actually like put this in my slides in a way that made sense. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it anyway, because yeah, that's it. So okay. So I'm actually not sure if I said like this section that we're talking about. As I said, the talk is being separated into 3 sections, right? Why be a go-to person, how, and how to help others. So in this how section, we are now talking about how to do this with sort of like peers, yes, other developers, tech leads, people working with us, right? After I'll touch on, like the biggest section is around peers, but afterwards we'll talk about 2 very important relationships, our manager, which is completely different and very important, and also non-engineers, which is also something we should think about. But I just remembered that I haven't said that, and I'm going back into this. So we were talking about knowledge and the skills we need to have within knowledge, and I talked about behaviors that can help us demonstrate those skills. Now let's jump into caring. And as I see caring, like a lot of the times it sounds like very douchey when companies are like, oh, we're people first, oh, we care about everyone, stuff like that. So I sort of want to try and make it a little bit more authentic and come from a more genuine place, right? Because when people know that you care about the people around you, about the team, about the product, about the success of the company, so it makes it a lot easier for them to trust you and also for you to get along with others, right? So if people believe that you work without secret objectives, right, they'll be even more like, able to do things that they might not want to, okay? And this is especially important, I think, for leaders in a company because leaders define like the culture of the company, and I wish, like, I've seen how this works well when you have good managers and good leadership that behaves this way, but I also saw the opposite. So, caring. The first skill is empathy. So, we all are, every once in a while, no matter what seniority we're at, we get stuck, okay, or something doesn't work out for us, or I don't know what. So, and it's very not comfortable asking for help, right? So suggesting help proactively really, really helps, right? Maybe people will still tell you no, maybe people will say no and then come afterwards and say yes. Whatever it is, it still creates a feeling, that you care, you want to help, you're willing to give up your time to help someone else. This one is a personal favorite. Assume good faith. So, we don't like everyone at work, and our days are not perfect usually. And people do things, and we don't like it. But it doesn't necessarily mean that someone is trying to do something bad to us, right? Maybe they just have a different opinion. Maybe they had a bad week. I don't know what the reason is, but we should try to assume good faith behind what people are doing, right? So this is very important. Once you do that, it removes a lot of conflict because you're coming a lot more, freely into the interaction with the person. Sort of like complementary to assume good faith, if you're seeing something that is not working well, I don't know, maybe a project is going sideways, maybe someone really is having a hard week, like going to their manager and saying like, look, he's truly struggling. Like it sometimes feel like maybe we're like, going and telling on people, but it's not really that. There's a lot of maturity that goes into speaking up when the time is right. And it shows you care. You care about the people, you care about the project, right? Be smart about it, but this also shows a lot about caring. Okay. So, sort of relates to the visibility concept as well. But people will not come to us if they know we won't prioritize time, right? People won't, they won't come to us if they're blocked, if they know that we won't help them, right? So they need to remember we exist, but we need to respond when they approach us. So, first of all, we can be responsive, and sometimes it's hard. What I try to do when people write me and I know that I'm not going to be available for some hours, sometimes my calendar looks like hell. So I write to them, hey, listen, I'm freeing up at 4. Like if this is urgent, maybe you should contact someone else. At least they know I respond, right? They don't feel like nobody's answering. Prioritize your time to help others, potentially putting other work on the side. People will really appreciate it, and they know that, again, they will get this response when they come to you. Try to use your calendar in a smart way. I always tell people, like, if you need me, just put something on my calendar. Wherever you see it free, just put something, 15 minutes, 20, 30, whatever you need, just do it. And also I try to sort of like understand with people if things are urgent, and then I'll just shift my calendar to help them. Because my calendar tends to be pretty bad at the end, like at my new work, not yet. I guess it's a yet and not forever. But this is something that also people really appreciate, right? And they see it as you being approachable when it's happening. Okay. Okay, you're excited, you're good, you're vibrant? Okay. And our last skill, if I'm not mistaken, for caring is active listening. It's also something that I really love because I'm not always very good at it. So talk less, very bad at it. I truly believe in it, but I'm very bad at it. And usually what I do is I continuously try to improve myself with this one. So sometimes at meetings I even I'll be like, so I won't open my mouth and continue talking. This reminds me to stop and let others speak first. And I think this is very true for me as I am in a leadership position, right? I want to give the option for others to speak first. Maybe if you're a mid-level developer, you would want to be more in the beginning, so your ideas will be shown more, but this is something to think about. Responding using follow-up questions also sorts of falls between like, are you a leader or are you a developer or where you are in your career or in this company? But in general, try to think about this. Nothing kills a conversation faster than the word no or you're wrong. Where do you go from this? It always ends up being a conflict. So if you'll take the things that bother you with the idea that this person is presenting and phrase them as a question, you'll be having a conversation. Maybe we misunderstood each other. Maybe we are really disagreeing, but we can actually talk it out. Maybe we can do other things, right? But the person in front of us knows we are listening and not just like shutting our heads. Okay. Put your ego aside. Easier said than done. So I have about 10 years of experience, and it does happen when I am in meetings, when I have like a junior developer or a mid-level developer, especially me being in a new company, especially me being, for example, I'm a backend, my background is backend, and I'm in an AI company, right? And I have a lot to learn. And people with less like expertise than me, maybe in amount of years, will be experts in something that I'm not. And I always have to remember who is talking, me or my ego. And it's hard, but we can't just like turn a blind eye. It's there, and we have to own it and to try to decrease it as much as we can. And lastly, don't make it about yourself. It's also something I try to struggle with. Sometimes people will come and tell me a story. I don't know, like I went and this happened to me and this happened to me, and I maybe like my system failed. I had a very bad bug, and everyone were over me, and it was a very bad experience. And I can maybe even like immediately try to like start to tell them, yes, I had something similar, and this is what I did, this is how I did it better, and I sort of start solving their problems even before they necessarily even ask. Maybe they're just venting, right? Maybe I'm just like trying to always like be this leader person, whatever. And it's actually something that I see a lot. Like a lot of the time, people just want to vent. You don't have to solve everyone's problems, and it really makes it about yourself, because in the end up, they came with a story, and what you end up is talking a lot about the story of your own, right? Yeah. So this is something I also really try to avoid. Right. Still in the peers section, by the way. This one is not so much as a skill, but something that I think is very important to talk about, and it's letting go. Okay. And the thing I think it's the reason I think it's important, because we need to invest our energy wisely. Okay, our work is hard, and we should try and make it as easy as possible. Right, our mental health, the amount of energy we put up during our days, we should consume it and keep it for the places that we actually want to invest it in. Okay. So the first practical behavior we can do is actually avoid repeating ourselves. I have the same issue here. I do with my hand on my mouth. What I try to do, if I sort of see me getting stuck in a conversation with another person, and I'm saying yes, they're saying no, I'm saying yes, they're saying no. We each have our cases, so I try to stop it and say, listen, we're repeating ourselves. I heard you, you heard me. Let's stop here. Let's sleep on it and see how we progress, right? Because being this, repeating ourselves too much makes us seem, persistent, combative, these negative things that you don't want to have like as opinions about you as a person. Because a lot of being a go-to person is about how much people like to come to talk to you, right? On another note, like another concept that can, help maybe speed up a conversation in which we have disagreements is using a tiebreaker. Bring more people into the conversation. Like, don't go and find this one person that thinks exactly like you, because you're just trying to win, but try to figure out how to do that. That can really help. And the last one, I do this sometimes. Don't engage from the start. Let's say there's a conversation that needs to happen. Maybe this person who leads this conversation, you disagree with them. And you know that if you're going to come to the conversation, it will just be a lot of conflict. In these cases, sometimes like conversation like this, it's better to sit out. It's better to not bring this negative energy into the room. Trust the people that work with you. Let them make the decisions. One of two things will happen. Either you were right and they will learn from their mistakes, or they will prove you wrong and then you learned from your mistakes. So just let it go. Most things are really not that important, and just go on with your day. That's at least how I see it. Success. we are done with appeals. So I'll just wrap it up for this section. So I was talking a lot about the skills that I see that are important for us to have as developers, as managers, as leaders, whatever, every role, skills that are important. And we talked a lot about very practical things we can do, okay? Now I want to talk about specific relationships, other specific relationships that are also very important to you and that can help you position yourself as a go-to person, let's say either with your manager or even with different type of roles in the company. So let's start with our manager. Who here knows what managing up is? Yeah? Okay, great. So managing up, like in a one line, is sort of managing and steering our relationship with our managers, right? So we are behind the wheels and we're trying to lead this relationship so it will be the best that it can. And for this, there's also very practical things that we can do as behaviors. And I have separated them into two sections. The first one is building trust. We need our manager to trust us, so they'll be able to let go. You know, they're so stiff. They don't trust anyone. They know they'll do their work. They'll do it best. So we need them to trust us, so they let go and let us grow. And the second one is generating impact, because in the end, our managers are also, all of us are. I forgot the word. We are all measured one way or another, so are our managers, and this is something that makes them look really good, so they'll be really happy. Okay, so let's kick it off with building trust. And the first thing you can do is managing expectations. So don't overcommit. Don't say you know a technology that you don't. Don't, turn a blind eye to challenges that you know that will come in a specific project or a feature, right? Because this shows lacking maturity if you're not being able to be realistic about what you're doing, right? And it really breaks trust if you don't. Adjust your communication style. In a perfect world, our manager will speak to us the way that best suits us, right? The specific language, the styles, but we are not living in a perfect world, and our managers tend to be very busy. And like when I say communication styles, let's say like some people are better like in written communication, some people are with verbal, right? Some managers like weekly updates, some like daily updates, right? And it would be best for you if you'll be able to align yourself to them. Okay, because usually, as I said, they have, let's say, 5 to 8 people in the team. They need to adjust themselves or try to everyone. This will help you progress. Be consistent and reliable. This is just like do the work. As I said, for your manager to let go, for you to be a go-to person, you need to have responsibility over something. You need to create a situation that people come to you and not your manager. And for that, he needs to feel like confident enough with you to deliver consistently and reliably. Or maybe it means you have more pressure on you and they need to know that you'll make the right decisions, right? And keep on delivering your work. So consistency is a very big part of it, right? And consistency doesn't mean meeting every deadline. Consistency can mean raising a flag when you don't. Okay, but this is very, very important because we need trust. And lastly, seek and use feedback. If your manager doesn't give it to you, ask for them. If you see something that is not working quite right, raise it with them. This really shows that you have a growth mindset, okay, and you wanna grow, and they maybe, even if they don't trust you enough today to give you a specific responsibility, you can build a plan with them. And you'll be leading the conversation because you'll be putting this on the table. Okay. So trust, we need them to trust us. The second part is generating impact. The first thing we can do is anticipate needs. So we are in our day-to-day life, working within the team. We know what's not working well, right? We know if our CI/CD is broken or too slow, and it's impacting the team from being able to deliver as fast as possible, or maybe if a specific area in our product is having a lot of bugs, we see this too. And being proactive and suggesting new ideas for improvement on things that you know that will bother your manager can really go a long way, because they'll say, okay, oh, this person, they see things, they know things, right? Maybe I should switch the order between these two, because you need to understand your boss's goal. I've seen this happen a lot, I don't know if a lot, but several times in my career, that we have like very strong people, technically, that work a lot, but don't get the recognition because what they're working on is not important enough. And it's because they probably don't understand what their manager values most. The bad part of this is maybe they just think their manager is wrong, but that's a different problem. But I'm assuming that maybe this is something we don't understand yet. And we need to shift our focus to working on things that our managers care about. This is the best way for growth. Like working on the most critical things is the best, the best way to like doing them and doing them well. It's the best way for you to get the recognition for your manager. Okay. How are we with time? Okay. It's amazing. I'm talking more now than I did in my dry runs, I see. But we're good. Don't worry. So we talked about our peers, our manager. Now, beyond engineering. Beyond engineering, product managers, designers, marketing, sales, especially in companies that work like in more new methodologies, working in squads, working in pods, whatever it might be. You have a lot of interaction with these roles. And also, even if you don't, these roles, for example, they bring like the customer's needs, okay? They know a lot of things, they have a lot of impact. Sometimes they are like theoretically stronger than engineers in the company, like different roles have more strength in a company. A product manager can be stronger than a developer, or sales can be stronger than a product manager, depending on how a company operates. And we just need to understand this is life, right? And we want people to be on our sides, because if sales come to me or marketing comes to me or the designer or the product manager, so now I'm the go-to person for them. And these are important people in the company, depending on how it's set up. But this is why I find this section important. So what can we do to build our relationships better with them and try to become their go-to people? So first of all, build a common language. We speak very different languages, for example, we and marketing people, and even product managers, which are closer to us usually. And building a common language, being able to talk to different people and actually, explain an idea to them can go a very long way. Okay, for example, if you're talking to a product manager and very quickly in the conversation you're leaping to, yes, and then I did a repository pattern and then I added the test and I went into the database, they don't care. It's not interesting to them. They care, like, did you put the right fields in the database, or the user is going to get all the right information that they're like, talk at like the level that they're talking to. And being this translator is a super skill. I'm telling you, this is a very strong skill, right? Being able to translate yourself in between different roles. Also, by the way, between different seniorities, right? It's like when you're talking to a junior developer, or maybe you're talking to someone really senior and they're like speaking really fast with a lot of, names you don't know, and you're like, what the hell is he talking about? I don't know. So being this translator really, really helps build a common language. Secondly, understand their pain points. So we as engineers are measured differently than other roles. For surely from product and for surely from sales. For example, sales will be probably measured on the amount of money they bring into the company, not from the amount of the, the most kick-ass features we deliver, right? And this is what we care about. They don't care about the technology under the hood most of the time, right? They care about selling the biggest deal, right? But by understanding these pain points, we create empathy, right? And we suddenly start to understand why they're pushing this feature that we think is, I don't know, not important at all, but they know they have this big deal waiting to be signed if we only deliver this feature. So this builds empathy. And lastly here is include them. Make them feel a part of this, right? I'm not saying make them, the kings and queens of our kingdom. They don't need to be making all the decisions, but for sure if they'll be part of the conversation, they'll have an easier time also getting the answer no, and also giving you new ideas and creating a lot of creativity. Okay. Another good point for all of us. We are done with the how. Yes, okay. I'm excited. So I talked about how, I know it was a long section with a lot of behaviors and a lot of skills and a lot of things. And to be honest, I skimmed it down because I have so much to say around this. And I really love this topic. So I hope it wasn't like too tedious. But yeah, let's switch to empowering others, right? Because sometimes we're in that position that maybe we are already go-to people. Maybe we are a manager, maybe we're, I don't know, like a tech lead, maybe we're just like in the company more time than others. Could be anything. So how can we help others become go-to person? So first of all, we need to sort of inbrand it in our brain that it's a win-win situation, right? In a company that has a lot of go-to people, there's a lot of leaders without authority. There's a lot of leaders without a title, right? And there's less need for micromanagement or for people to need to tell you what to say. And there's more independence in general. And because everyone understands things and everyone are also owning up to different things, so it's nicer to work with each other, right? Because suddenly we're all having these behaviors that help us, work in a nicer manner with each other. So it's a win-win-win. It's easier to collaborate. It's a better work environment. And for you as a person, this can really speed up your personal growth, whatever direction you want it to be. So how can you help others? So first of all, if you're seeing someone and you're saying, oh, this person can really be like a go-to person around this specific like section in our system. Maybe there's like a microservice and I would love for that guy to take ownership of this. Like, how do I help him become this person that can actually do this? So first of all, we need to raise awareness, right? They need to know that this thing exists and it's possible. You can talk to them in like a one-on-one conversation. You can say it, in a team meeting, and you can also send the recording for this talk after it's out, also a possibility, right? So they need to know it exists. The second one, we need to build a plan. Also, if you intend to like try to do it yourselves, you need to have a plan. It doesn't have to be like real bullet points and stuff on paper, but you have to sort of, first of all, understand this takes time. Becoming a go-to person takes time. Creating an impression on people takes time. For me, I say that like becoming a go-to person in a specific like group of people or domain or something, whatever scope you want to call it, takes about 3 months. Because working with people and like sort of building their habits on you, like regarding yourself, takes time. So you need to build a plan. So I would focus on a specific something, maybe a group of people, maybe a specific product, maybe a specific system, and also focus on specific skills, because you don't want to be too branched out. This will take all of your day, all of your time, and you still have work to do, right? So pace yourself. It's like a sort of marathon, not sprint situation. And lastly, if you as a person have the option to increase that go-to person prospect, to increase their visibility, that's a very good thing to do. For example, sharing their success stories, or maybe if you want this from your manager, ask them. Maybe we can share success stories of mine in a shared channel with a lot of people, right? Because again, this is part, sorry, of the visibility. Last slide. You ready? Yes. So to sum it up, it's a lot about influencing others, okay? And there's nothing you can do. You have to earn your street cred. I claim no matter how senior you are, I don't care if you're a CTO, you still need to earn your street cred so people will want to come to you. Your title is not enough. This is how I believe leaders should behave. So if you want to go and start being a go-to person or help someone else, start small and be patient and empower others. The other way around. Okay, yes. Okay, last one. So I dare you. Yes. Whoops. Take 2 behaviors from here, from the list, and start implementing them tomorrow. That's it. That's my QR again. Thank you.